that you absolutely do, because it was an absolute corker. 5 riders battling out for victory, and it all came down to turn 12, as it so often does here at the Chang International Circuit. And eventually it was home hero Jakkreephat Phuettisan who won by just over a tenth of a second from Shinya Ezawa. Amon Odaki was on the podium with Zen Mitani, and your championship leader Veda Ega Pratama finishing down in 5th place. Pratama led out of turn 11, the penultimate corner, but ultimately finished down in 5th place.
A couple of things to keep your eye out on this one then. The riders, as you mentioned, that were up in that lead group yesterday were all on the front 2 rows of the grid. Pratama, the poleman, he finished 5th yesterday. On the outside of the front row, the home hero, Jakkreephat Phuettisan, he won the race yesterday. Row 2 of the grid, we've got 3 Japanese stars who are all going to be looking to try and bite back today. Amon Odaki leads row 2 in 4th, ahead of Zen Mitani and Shinya Ezawa. One man that we didn't really see featuring yesterday, that's because he had a double long lap penalty. He starts 2nd, Ryota Ogiwara, only a 10th away from Pratama in qualifying yesterday morning. So well worth keeping your eye on Ogiwara today. He could be the dark horse in this one. Obviously wasn't up there fighting with the other 5 riders as a result of that penalty yesterday, so could come in and pose a few problems. There is the Japanese rider, yet to taste victory, yet to taste podium success this season so far, but does find himself 6th in the standings, has finished 4th on 3 separate occasions, has got a 6th place finish twice as well, so he has been consistent. You would have to say a little bit unlucky not to have tasted podium success yet. Will that change today?
He'll be hoping it does. He got a double long lap penalty for riding slowly in several sectors in Friday's practice. The rule was introduced after the riders were a little bit naughty, shall we say, back in Indonesia. They'd scrapped the rules, but because it happened in Indonesia to too many riders, they brought the rule back in for this weekend in Thailand. And yes, unfortunately, Ogiwara was caught out in practice, so he had a double long lap penalty yesterday, which ultimately cost him a chance of trying to fight for the podium. But starting from 2nd place, as Jack said, less than a 10th away from pole position, he'll be hoping to be in that podium fight. 6-rider fight potentially coming up, or even more.
That's how myself and Elliot made our way into the circuit this morning on the back of a bus. Windswept and beautiful as ever. And it was nice to get a bit of a breeze as well. 30 degrees air temperature already at 9:45 this morning. It is a warm one. It is extremely humid out there as well. As you say, weather is going to be on the lips of everybody today. I think we might get away with it, but let's see. Certainly, as you said, good news is this is going to be bone dry, 15 laps ahead of us, and if it's anything like yesterday, get ready.
Bone dry, 15 laps ahead of us, so expect rain then in the next 15 or so laps. But no, it does look like it could be dry, but we've seen in the years that we've been at the Chang International Circuit, rain could come from anywhere at any time. Number 2 of Zen Mitani clawed back a couple of points in the championship chase. He benefited from Pratama's last corner incident with Shinya Ezawa and finished 4th place. Mitani now 55 points down on Pratama in the standings, and that was Mitani's worst finish across the line all season. He had that DNF back in Japan in race 2 when he crashed out of the podium places on the final lap, but every other race he's finished, he's been on the podium as the star rookie. So a P4 for Mitani. He wouldn't have been too pleased with that. He was in the podium fight, and anyone who would have finished off the podium yesterday were just unlucky, really. But he did importantly beat Pratama, knocking a couple of points off Pratama's advantage. We just saw there on your screen Shinya Ezawa. He stood on the podium yesterday, his 2nd podium of the season after finishing P2 in Japan. Spoke to all 3 of the podium finishes yesterday, and asked Ezawa how excited he was for race 2 this morning after a fantastic race yesterday, and all he said was P1 tomorrow. So Ezawa making his feelings very, very clear indeed. So it's going to be a fascinating battle. All these riders are going to be super hungry. The Thai fans filling up the grandstands already this morning, and they're wanting Phuettisan to stand on the top step once again like he did yesterday. In fact, Phuettisan moved up to third place in the overall standings. He's now only 65 points. I say only, it's still obviously a big margin, but he's decreased that gap in the standings to Pratama. But what's going to happen today? Here is your starting grid. It's Pratama on pole for the third time this year from Ogiwara and Phuettisan. Odaki, Mitani and Ezawa are on row 2 with Al-Sahouti, Takahira and Fadillah on row 3. Row 4 is led by Hafiy with Putra and Singhapong, the wildcard rider, on row 4. Row 5 is Nikolis, Rasyadan and Meilandri. Tanachot, the other wildcard rider, is on row 6 with Russo and Darwisy. And row 7 is Chavan, Gading and Putra, rounding out your 21 riders, with Wamun unfortunately declared unfit after yesterday's crash.
Veda Pratama's riding is a lot better than his choice of sunglasses.
It certainly is. Here's race 2 highlights then from the Chang International Circuit. Pratama launching away well from pole position, just as he did yesterday. Phuettisan off the front row, launched it into P2 early doors, but it was line astern as you were down the back straight on the opening few laps. It was getting very, very busy on the opening few laps. Plenty of riders all in the lead group, all fighting for the podium positions and the race lead. This was the opening lap down at turn 3. We saw plenty of ongoings down there at turn 3. This is down into turn 12. Phuettisan on the number 20, trying to lead the way in the early exchanges. A little bit of contact there on the exit for Phuettisan. Didn't disrupt his rhythm too much though, but the lead was changing lap by lap, corner by corner. Down at turn 3, once again, several lines, and this was the incident that nearly saw Odaki go out of the race. The number 14 and the number 7 were toe-to-toe all the way through. That was into the fast turn for the left-hander. Odaki leading the way from Pratama, Phuettisan, Ogiwara in the lead group, Mitani in the lead group. All the lead contenders in the title chase were battling away. Unfortunately, this is what happened on the exit of turn 7. Watch the second bike on your screen there, Mitani, a high side out of second place, and unfortunately the number 21 of Ezawa didn't have anywhere to go and then collected the stricken motorcycle. Both riders have been reported okay. They're in the medical centre having a checkup, but this was turn 12, the final corner of the final lap. Pratama, expertly done, Marc Marquez-esque at the final corner to win his 6th race of the season. Odaki and Phuettisan standing on the podium, but as we head to Malaysia, it is all about one rider. The number 7 of Pratama can wrap it up next time around. We will see you in a couple of weeks at the Sepang International Circuit.